Hey, it's Chris, the parenting professor, and we're outside again, as we like to do quite a bit here at our house. And I just spent the last hour or so replanting some plants, and we had a lot of cold snap. Oh, did you see this shirt? This one's from St. Charles, Minnesota. It's the Small Town Big Heart Early Childhood Initiative. I think years ago I did something and they're like, we don't have any budget, but you can have a shirt. And I said, yeah, that's great. So one of the cool things about doing what I do is I get to spend a lot of time with a lot of great people all over this country and talking to people and seeing all the good things that we're doing. So anyway, I was replanting some plants, tomatoes and peppers, and I started thinking about a lot of metaphors with the roots and the leaves. And what I found is when I took the old tomatoes out and the old peppers out, the roots looked pretty good. They were kind of strong, but just not strong enough to take on that cold snap. We had a long cold snap. We even covered them. We covered them every night and extensively covered them, blankets and buckets, and it just wasn't enough because the environment was just too harsh for those plants to flourish. Even the roots were pretty strong. Now, they weren't as strong as they probably could be because they were just put in the ground, 7-8 days ago. They hadn't really established themselves yet. And I started thinking about, it's kind of like raising kids. I remember Dr. Charles Fay telling, he was doing a workshop with teachers and talking about kids that come to us with traumatic pasts and challenging pasts. And we use that phrase, trauma-informed care. And his catchphrase was, if we don't address the emotional root, we'll never see the academic fruit. And I started thinking about that in kids and how do we build those strong roots? And how do we create an environment around which the leaves and fruit of the tomato can really flourish? And I was getting those plants early this morning and kind of had an experience that bummed me out a little bit, and I felt moved to kind of move to the next aisle and just see what was going on. And we do our best. Even the best of us lose our cool sometimes, but it was what appeared to be a grandma just laying into this little girl. I mean, couldn't have been 7 or 8, and just very accusatory in language. Well, do you think that, all the sayings, money doesn't grow on trees, and if I give you everything you want and you don't appreciate it. And this girl was it was almost like she wasn't there. And I could sense this history of, well, here we go again. And it tore me up. And I actually walked down the hallway and just kind of shopped near them, thinking, well, if there's a stranger there, maybe they'll kind of, I don't know, loosen up a little bit. And that didn't happen. And she just kind of laid right into her, and they went down an aisle, and I heard them yelling at each other still. And I was saddened. And I thought about what her roots must be like. The environment's pretty obvious, but I wonder what the little girl's roots must be like. And what does that mean for her future? So what can we do? How do we grow those strong emotional roots so that we see those social and grown up and fruit of being an adult? Because that's what we're raising, is the next generations, right? And one of the things we talk about in classes is, getting away from that constant, for sure the ranting, but then the raving, the constant, way to go, that's awesome, you rock, way to, a steady diet of that, it doesn't have a lot of meaning after a while. And just like a steady diet of yelling and anger and frustration doesn't have much purpose or meaning anymore either. So one of the things we talk about in class is using the I noticed routine. And it's really just describing what you're seeing as you're going through life, but not putting in a judgmental hook to it. So, for example, I know some kids that one's walking by right now. Hey, Bray, thanks for doing that. Did you finish that?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. Things when they were little, like, I noticed you've been coloring for 20 minutes, and then bite her lip and just walk away. And just noticing. And you ever see how a child, that's all they want. They just want to be heard and noticed. Go to any park, maybe not now, but a typical park or a typical day, and you hear things like, Mom, watch me. They just want to be seen, right? They want to be noticed. So we use this phrase called, I noticed. I noticed you've been working upstairs in your room for the last hour. I noticed you chose the pink bowl today. Some of it's just silly stuff, but it's just noticing the child. I noticed that you ate your vegetables before your sandwich. I noticed that when you walk across wet grass, you walk briskly. I noticed, oh gosh, there's so many things that you can challenge yourself to do. And that just starts building a little bit of foundation of a non-judgmental emotional root, right? Sitting down and listening and talking and noticing. That's just a quick little start, but something that works with a lot of really tough kids. And I've had success with as a substitute or a teacher full-time and then as a substitute coming in and just using the I Notice routine with some really challenging children. And they don't even know me as a sub, really. And I might say crazy things like, I noticed your bag is blue. And they kind of look at, what? I'm like, just noticed. And I just keep walking away. And then pretty soon you notice something else. And they're kind of like, yeah, he's weird. And but they kind of tend to want to be around you because there's not this judgmental baggage that goes along with it. So I think about that little girl I saw today, and I just felt moved to think about the roots that we're developing that we can't really see. And then the fruit, not just academic fruit, but social, emotional fruit that we are hoping to raise into the next generations of world-class citizens. And I wish you well. I guess that's all I had. As you know, this is fly by the seat of the pants with these things. And I cleaned up a little bit, but I'm still a little bit dirty. And that's kind of fun to do too. So if this was useful for you, thank you. And feel free to share on your Facebook page. And I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but appreciate all the positive comments, and it sure lifts me up in this kind of rather challenging time. And hopefully I get in front of more people soon. Thanks so much. Hey, Bonnie, I saw you.